Well, I'm going to talk about something that just happened recently to me. But I think it has a very good message about life today and how it relates. So I'm going to introduce my message to you, and then I'm going to play you a little clip of my NASCAR experience.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
So, now you're not going to bore you with all 10 laps, but I want to show you how life starts out and you get more confident and you get a little bit faster when you know what's going on. Did you fix it? Did you do it? So, we're going to do this first, and then I'm going to give you the title of my message. So, this is me in this car.
Yeah.
And there's a GoPro, so Chad's going to start it. Huh? Yeah, I'm ready. You can't hear the nice engine going on. Okay, so as I started out, I'm like, oh, I'm not really sure, of this, but it's we're going to get like 4 minutes of it. As I'm going, I'm coming around the corner, I'm like, because you don't know what the car's going to do, okay? I don't want to wreck it. So I'm going, and I start to get around the corner, I'm like, okay, this car's not going to hit the wall, nothing's going to happen. So then I get around the corner, as you watch this, I start getting faster. It took me about 4 laps out of 10 to get going. So I get around the corner, I'm like, okay, I can do this.
You can do this.
Okay? Now, this right here is called the apron. Okay? That when you come out of the pits. And when I first got there, they kept telling me, Heather, get off the apron. Get off the apron. Because you're not supposed to stay there. You're supposed to get out here on the racetrack, because that's a GoPro on the top of the car. And I can imagine doing this 250 times around the lap, like because your arms get tired, it's hot in the car. But as you notice, as I get around this one corner, I do start to go like 100, 110.
All right.
So I get pretty fast, I get more confident.
Right.
Now I will do this again.
Yeah, I want to do
Something that was fun,
I want to do it.
and there will be a car that passes me because there was professionals out there taking other people around the track, doing about 160.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't go that fast. But this is where I started, okay, this is where I can speed up. They tell you there's certain corners you need to lay off the gas because you'll spin out.
Oh.
Okay, doesn't that look fun? It was so much
Oh,
fun.
it does. Yeah, I want to do this.
So, I just wish I had told her to put me in a Ford. Put me in a Chevy, and I'm like, I should have said I wanted to be in a Ford. But anyway, I did this for 10 laps. Okay? And the whole time, they're kind of talking to you in your headset.
Oh.
Okay? So you can stop, Chad. So, this is the title of my message. Church, start your engines.
All right. Woo!
Okay, so I love NASCAR. I love to watch it. And anybody who's ever watched it, that's the first thing they do. Everybody lines up, and somebody with, I don't know, a special person will come out or whatever and say, gentlemen, start your engines.
Yeah.
And there's just a little flip. They flip up, and that engine just starts. Now, luckily, I knew how to drive a stick because I thought it was an automatic, and it's not. It's a 4-speed. But I knew how to drive the stick. There were some people that didn't know how, and all they kept doing was killing it. So I felt bad for them. Anyway, that's what I want to talk about.
All right.
So, this was something I had always wanted to do, and I got it for Christmas. So we get there, they had canceled where I was going to go. We get there, it was very hot that day. And they don't put you in a fireproof dress, okay? They put you in a fireproof suit, helmet, the whole 9 yards. So you get this on, and the closer it got, I'm watching and I was the only woman that day that actually drove it by myself. Now the other women got in a car with somebody to take them around the track. Now you can do that, it'll cost you more money, and next time I might do that because they kind of tell you what to expect and what to expect. But what I want to compare is life is just like this. So I did everything ready, and it was late, and they finally said, okay, Heather, it's your turn. So I had my helmet on, it was hot. You don't have to have your helmet all the way down. You can breathe through it. They don't make you have it all the way down. And you get in this car, you got to go through the window, feet first.
All right.
So luckily, I'm like, you ain't gonna have a dress on for this, right? So I can get in the window, so I get in the window and I get in there, and they start strapping you in. I mean, you got this harness here, you got thing around your here, and then I couldn't reach the pedals.
Oh, no.
Because they're made for a man. These are actual NASCARs, these are not, the only thing they change is they gear them down, so they can't go. I could only do 120 in that car. I didn't do 120. But, next time I might. So, they put a little thing in there and they scoot you up.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, then I think my helmet was just too small. They want to stick these little headsets in there because they're going to talk to you, just like they do in NASCAR. For just a brief second, anxiety kicked in.
Right.
It was hot. I was closed in this tight little spot. You got to put the steering wheel on and snap it on, and then they make you jerk it a couple of times, make sure it don't come off. And I was this close in my mind, I can't do this. I can't do it. Let me out. Let me out. For just a brief second. And then they flipped that switch and started that engine, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing this.
Yeah, go, go.
I ain't going home and telling everybody I took it out.
That's right, go sister.
So it's the same thing. I'm going to compare some things to you when we start out with the Lord. And when I started in that NASCAR, I got out of the pits, I shifted, got out to the pits, but I wasn't sure what the car would do. I wasn't sure just how fast I could go.
Right.
So I kept on that apron for probably 1 or 2 laps. And they're talking and they said, Heather, you got to get off the apron. Get off the apron. Because they tell you there's a place that you're supposed to go. So I'm like, okay, I can do this. So then you realize you give it a little bit more gas. And you're like, okay, I kind of know what this car's going to do now. You know, I'm not going to spin out. I know. Because NASCAR's not like driving your car.
Right.
They're light. That's why you see them flip out or get a draft. Now, there was other people on there that were, you know, but they were professionals. Okay, and they're talking to you the whole time. Now, have you got a car coming? But because I can't see. There's no rear view mirror for me to see behind me.
Okay.
Or far ahead of me. So they're telling me, get down into your lane, there's a car coming behind you. So you got to be listening on this headset. So sometimes we're like that, you know?
Yeah.
We start out serving the Lord and we're like, I don't know if I can do this. Now sometimes it's because we just don't understand
Right.
things about the Lord, or we're just not sure, we don't understand things, so we're unsure. And some people actually do what I almost did.
Take it out.
They get in and say, I can't do it.
Uh-huh.
I can't do this.
Right.
But you got to keep going.
Amen.
So in Ecclesiastes 9 and 11, it tells us, I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither let bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happen to them all. And I want to talk about the race, because I don't want to get ahead of my notes here, but it's not for one to get out there and go the fastest.
Right.
Okay, now NASCAR, it is.
Right.
It's all about that. And sometimes we're just afraid of the unknown. We're not sure what is this God all about? What is all this?
Right.
Now, in NASCAR, there's a pole position. Okay? And the day before a race, they all have to race around the track and they go by a speed. So whoever goes the fastest gets the pole position.
Yes.
Which means they're in first place.
Right.
Now, aren't you glad in life it ain't like that with us?
Right. We'll be in trouble.
You don't have to have the pole position to be in the race.
Right.
Okay? Now, I did some research and I thought, well, how many of those people that actually start in first place actually win the race? Because remember, it's not the ones who start out going fast that are going to always
Finish the
win.
race. Right. That's so.
Did you know that only 22%
Wow. That's,
of racers that get the pole position actually win a NASCAR race?
wow.
Wow.
22%. So I don't think I'd want to be on the pole position. But life isn't like that. We have a better chance of 22%
Amen.
of getting where we need to be.
Yes.
So, just like NASCAR, we're in a race
Yes.
in life. And it's time to start the engines.
That's
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like never before.
Yes.
Amen.
Starting arrangements is like taking time to hide. The Bible says to hide His word in your heart.
Right.
Not just read the word.
Right.
It's not just reading it.
No.
You got to hide it in your heart because sometime you're going to need those scriptures to keep going.
Yes.
You're going to need those scriptures to encourage yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
It's time to pray like we've never prayed before.
Yes.
Fast like we've never prayed before.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just all need a good tune-up.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
We
right.
just all need a good tune-up.
That's right.
Do you think those NASCARs don't get a major tune-up after every race?
Oh, yeah.
You figure these racers get in a car and they go more sometimes, but an average of 250 laps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's rough on them. They told us you have like 45 minutes. You'll leave it like a 45-minute training. That's it.
That's
it.
That's a good.
They tell you where to go on the road, how to put the steering, all of that. You don't get no hour or two to know how to drive it.
That's right.
Okay? So it's the same principle after that's done. Did you know that a race car driver in an average race loses 5 to 7 pounds?
Really?
Wow.
You know why?
Because you're sweating.
They're sweating.
Yeah.
They dehydrate.
Right.
Now, unfortunately, I can't tell you that a certain guy we're going to lose weight. That's not going to happen. But I'm just telling you, they go through things. They go through things. I can, just holding that steering wheel for 10 laps
Oh.
it was your hands, because they're doing that. That's why they need those yellows. They need those pit stops. Get a drink of water, get whatever, because they don't have all that in their cars.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't have all that. So, like in NASCAR, you're going to have a wreck. There's always a wreck in NASCAR.
Yes, there is.
How many, doesn't matter. And usually those wrecks are caused, sometimes there's races that don't like each other,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's true.
so they want to get back at them,
Uh-huh.
Right.
which I think is so childish for grown men, but
Right.
it's the races. So they'll get up to them, and in a NASCAR, it's so light, they can just nudge you a little bit and throw you completely spinning off. And once that car starts going, there ain't no stopping it.
No.
Good.
Right.
But I will tell you that they're so safe that most drivers get out and walk out.
Right.
99% of them get out and walk out.
That's true.
And you know how we survive that when we get wrecked and not out of place? By putting on the armor of God.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can.
We have an armor
That's
that we're
right.
supposed, the helmet of salvation,
Yeah.
truth,
Right.
our feet. We have that same armor. Now it could be because maybe now there's accidents. Sometimes they didn't mean to bump them. Sometimes another car gets taken out. How many times have you watched a race when an innocent person's just going on the race and this car wrecks them out and takes them out of the race?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's true.
And then they're in the pits.
And that's a
No,
change.
they're in the pits.
Now that could be frustrating. You know that happens to us in life? Did you know that there's times that we get knocked out, we get wrecked, and it was no doing of our own always, but somebody else has caused us
Right.
to get in the pits. The pits.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Theirs is the driving pits, ours is the pits. Now, they don't always run they change tires
Right.
several times.
Right.
So even during a race, they have to change those tires
Right.
to keep that traction. It all depends on how hot it is, how cold it is.
Right.
They have to get gasoline.
Right.
They don't run on one tank of gas.
No.
No.
They will run out. So they have to keep going, just like we do in life. We have to keep coming into, now this would be like the spiritual pit,
Right.
not the bad pit. We have to come and get tuned up.
Yes.
We have to, you just can't run out there one time with the Holy Ghost and think you're going to go out there and you're
That's right.
going to survive. You're not going to survive.
That's right.
You got to come get a tune up.
That's right. That's right.
Okay? After every one of those races, now some of them have more than one car. We only have one of us. So this is what we have.
Right.
Yeah.
And they'll change out that car. But trust me, after a race is run, they overdo that whole car.
Yes, they did.
That car, they don't just take that and race exactly like they left the car in the next race the next week. Because they pretty much race once a week. Okay? And in life, we can feel like we're literally in the pits. Not
Right.
the pit,
Yeah.
Right.
the pits.
Yes.
Right.
And we feel beat up.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's when our engine needs to be tuned up.
That's right.
Right. Amen.
Okay? Now, in NASCAR, you will see when there's an accident, what happens? What do they put out?
A yellow
A yellow flag.
Uh-huh.
Caution.
And at that time, there's a yellow flag. which means the drivers now have to stay in a certain speed, and they can't pass.
No,
You can't pass on a yellow.
right.
And sometimes I'm like, why in the world is that yellow out for 15 laps? You're just wasting all their gas. I'm like, it's clear. The track is clear.
Right.
Why are they still going around a yellow? Now, they're going to put the yellow because sometimes in a wreck they leave stuff on the track that's dangerous for the drivers. They may spill gasoline, whatever. But did you know it's the same way in our life when we have to do that? That we have to keep going caution because sometimes our leaders still see something on the track
Right, come on, yes,
that
yes.
we don't see.
That's right,
So they're saying, no, don't do that right now.
right,
You need to proceed with caution on that.
right.
I know you see the way clearly, but I'm telling you, there's something out there that it's not quite ready for you to just go full throttle.
That's right, that's right.
Okay? So we have leaders that are looking out for us. Just like that they call them a, hang on. What do they call them in there? Oh, they call them a certain name
Yep.
that talks to them.
Right.
And they tell them everything. They tell them when there's a wreck, hey, you're coming into a wreck, this thing, if you do this, you could drive through it. Or it's in the right hand up by the wall. Go this way. They see it before the driver does it, because remember, that's a big track.
Right.
They can't see it. They don't see anything in their back.
Right.
They'll tell them, this is where you're running, because I didn't know I wasn't keeping track of how many laps I was doing. They tell the driver, you are in this place, you're in 4th place, you know, this one's here, you're here, there's so many laps, you know, there's certain things they can watch, but most drivers are more focused on the race.
That's right, that's right.
They're focused on the race,
Focus on,
okay?
yes.
So, they'll warn us, just like the person warns the driver, there's danger ahead. Be careful. If you don't listen to the driver, listen to a spotter. That's what it's called.
Right.
The spotter tells that driver, and that driver has to trust that spotter.
Yes.
Think about that. He's putting his whole life in that spotter's
Oh,
hand.
yeah.
Yes, he is.
If that spotter doesn't tell him something, there's a wreck, he may drive right into it.
Right.
That's just like your pastor. He's your spotter.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yes.
He's your spotter. And we have to trust that.
Yes.
That what he knows, no, he's not God. But he gives godly advice and godly guidance
Yes.
for all of you.
Oh, yeah.
Right, come on.
And he's your spotter. He's your spiritual spotter.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's telling you, okay, there's this, don't go there. Move over in that lane, because if you don't move, you're going to crash.
Right.
Okay? So his job, your shepherd's job, is actually to keep you out of the danger zone and out of the pits.
Right.
Because if you wreck, you're going to be in the pits.
That's
And
right, come on.
sometimes they wreck their car so badly that they're out of the race.
That's
You see at the
right.
end of the race, out of the race, out of the race, out of the race.
Right.
Now, it doesn't matter, because sometimes don't matter. Now, I'll talk to you later. It doesn't matter where they finish, but they still get money and they still get points if they at least finish the race. Even if they don't win, there's still more to be gained by at least finishing.
That's right.
Not just going in the pits and saying, well, I'm done. I'm never racing again.
Yeah, come on.
No. They cannot get discouraged. Yes, we get angry. Yes, we get upset. Maybe a lot of times because it's something that we did not do to ourselves.
Yeah.
It's not always self-inflicted. But we have to get back on the track.
Yes. Back on track. Yes.
We must always remember that our job in life is to stay on the track. And keep our engines going to keep moving forward, so we'll gain the prize at the end of the race.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Hallelujah.
Okay? Now, just like me, I didn't start out doing 110.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm like, I ain't sure about this, but
Right.
each lap I got a little bit more confident.
Right.
About lap 5, I'm like, okay, I got this. I know what the car's gonna do. I know what this
Right.
track is gonna do. I can do this. And there was a certain spot that you could actually floor it, and you could just go, and then you just kind of let off the gas a little bit to make that turn, and then you keep going again on the straightaways. They call it the straightaways.
Right.
Okay? You just let off the gas a little bit, and then you just keep going. So sometimes we have to do that in life. Sometimes we're like, okay, now slow down here a little bit, get
Right.
things back together. But then I'm going to give it full throttle again. I'm not going to stay in this,
Right.
slow mode. Okay?
Right.
Yeah.
So it took me a few laps to get confident.
Right.
Okay? Now the next time it will not take me 4 laps.
Right.
Because even though I may be in another truck, I kind of know what the car is going to do
Right.
and how I can control it. So next time it may take me 1 or 2 laps and then I'm out of there.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I'm out of there. Okay? So it's like that. The longer we serve the Lord, the more confident we get in our walk with Him.
Yeah.
True. True.
Hello?
Yep.
And
Amen.
we're not just scared of the things that can happen or will happen.
Right.
Right.
Oh,
Those NASCAR drivers, I'm sure that when they've been in a really bad wreck, the first time they get back in that car, they're a little gun shy.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though most of them walk away from it, they still get hurt. They can still hit a wall, they break legs, they hurt their arm, whatever.
Yeah.
They survive it, but they're not so just sure to get back in there again. It takes them a little bit to get their confidence back.
Right.
Yes.
It's like that too, and there's nothing wrong with that. We may get into a little thing, we're like, okay, I've been that road before,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to be a little bit more cautious, but then we got to get our confidence back.
Right.
You can't live in caution life.
Right.
Yeah.
You cannot live
Hallelujah.
It's a process,
Right.
okay? So then we have to be more confident. Now, in that car, they're all by themselves. There's nobody in the car with them. All they have is that spotter talking to them,
Right.
Yeah.
okay? But for us in life, that's not the case.
That's right.
We're not in this race all by ourselves.
That's right. That's right. Come on.
Even if you think you are not.
That's right.
You have a pastor, you have a first lady, you have a church family that's walking with you.
Yes.
Like the song said, because He walks with me, He leads me wherever I go.
Hallelujah.
Okay?
Yes.
So you're never alone.
That's
Do we
right.
feel that way sometimes? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we feel like we're the only one, we're all by ourselves.
Yep.
And that's the trick of the enemy. He wants you to think
Yeah.
you're alone.
That's right. That's right.
Hallelujah.
There's nobody at that church that loves you.
Oh, yes.
I don't know why you go there. Nobody cares about you. If you don't come, you won't be missed.
Yeah.
That is a lie.
Amen to that.
You are missed. I know who's not here today. I don't know why some of them aren't here, but I know they're not here,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
and I'm concerned.
Yes.
Okay, it's not like, and I don't care, people, if we start running 250, 300, and that day is coming,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still going to remember who's there and who's not.
That's right. Amen.
So no matter how big we get, I know all of you, and I know all of them, and
Yeah.
when you're not here.
Amen.
So it is necessary that when we have a bump in the road, or we have a so-called wreck, that we don't stay there and stay in the pits.
Yes.
Something happened to their car, and they get back on the track. They never just say, well, I'm done.
That's right.
I'm done. Usually when NASCAR drivers stop, they're very young, because they've just outgrown it.
Yeah.
They're just tired, and they've earned their money, and I'm done. I'm going to be an announcer like Jeff Gordon and some of these that are retired. He's retired, but he's just announcing them now.
Yeah.
Okay? So, if they don't, then they're never going to have that opportunity to win that prize. There is NASCAR drivers that have never won a race.
That's true.
They've come in pretty close, or they start out really good, but they haven't won it.
Right.
They maybe come in the top 10, but they didn't win it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay? And if you don't stay in the race,
You ain't gonna.
you're never going to have that opportunity to
No,
win
you
that
won't.
prize.
Amen.
Yes.
That's
Ever.
right.
Remember, it is not the one who runs the fastest. Now in NASCAR, it is. It's the one who goes the fastest, but there's strategy in a race.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
They don't always win by being fast. They know by how another driver drives. They know what lane they're going to pick. They know what their car does. They know that there's drafting in NASCAR, which means they get behind another car and they can draft that car and not use their gas.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's strategy. And then just getting out there and flooring and going around
That's
the
right.
track.
Sure enough.
Yeah.
There's a strategy to it.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
And they know that they can get on the truck, and if I can draft him, he can swing me around him, and I'm using less fuel.
Right.
Because remember, if you got to come in to the pits and it's not a caution,
Uh-huh.
the race is still going.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
They can pass you. If you don't get out of that pit before a lap, you're going to be down a lap.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yes.
If you
Yeah.
stay in the pit too long,
true. Right.
you're going to get past, and then they got to catch up. You're a
Yeah.
lap down. You're a lap
Yeah.
and a half down.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what happens. That's why they say, that's why your pit crew,
Uh-huh.
which is your brothers and sisters
Right.
in the church,
Uh-huh.
we got to do things quickly. We got to be ready to pray for them, to be there for them.
Yes, amen.
Because if you've ever watched them train, I mean, it's fast.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Yeah.
get those tires out, put that gas in the car, give them something to drink, and they're out of there.
Right.
They do all that before those cars pass that pit.
Yep.
Because they got to be on the starting, they got to be on that starting lap.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
if that pace car, which, you know, the pace car always comes out, but if that pace car goes past the pits, and they're still in the pit, you're a lap down now.
Right.
Yeah.
Every time that pace car comes around, you're a lap down.
Yeah.
So it's important to get in the pit, get it fixed, and get out.
All right, there you go.
Okay?
All right, that's right.
So, Hebrews, okay, but it's not the one who runs the fastest or reaches their spiritual plateau. So, we all are in different places in our race.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yes.
We are all not at the same place.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
We are at different places.
Right.
But in life's race, it does not matter
Right.
where you are. Hebrews 12, 1 and 2 says, "Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight